is the difference between the two. Because as far as I'm concerned, like, I've always been told and come to a similar understanding of the difference between anarchy and socialism is the anarchists don't have a plan for after something happens type thing. But this was coming from a socialist, so you could argue that this was coming from a biased place. But you try and just hold on to the hope that people are being upfront with you, like 100% of the time. But this is the thing, is that what it literally says here is, it doesn't technically say that, anarchism is basically socialism, but the socialists have a game plan for afterwards. Like, they don't say that. It literally says that anarchism is broadly used to describe the anti-authoritarian wing of the socialist movement. Anarchism is constructed or contrasted to socialist forms which are state orientated or from above. Scholars of anarchism generally highlight anarchism's socialist credentials and criticize attempts at creating dichotomies between the two. I don't have a fucking clue what that word means or how to even pronounce it, so fuck off, like, if you've got a problem with that. But see, this is the thing, is that not once there did it actually say anything at all about the anarchists are just basically socialists without an actual game plan in the aftermath of, like, the state being, like, overrun. Like, they don't say that. But this is the thing. This is probably the lamest, like, way that anyone could explain the difference between socialism and anarchism. Is I would say, personally speaking, the difference between the two is that anarchy is, you can, say for an example, you could do something as innocent as blow up a building or something like that, or just create not social, just like a public disruption type thing is anarchy. Like a riot is anarchy type thing. But then this is the difference between socialism and anarchism, is that a socialist wouldn't be sitting there thinking, let's blow up a building. They'd be sitting there and thinking, how can we take the power away from that building? It's like, say for an example, if I was to go up, blow up the Houses of Parliament, like, that's taking care of the issue, like, through anarchistic measures. But a socialist would sit there and try and use, which is something I always find rather fucking hilariously stupid and hypocritical, if I'm being honest. A socialist would sit there and try to use the system that they've acknowledged is failed and it's never worked in the whole 200 years that it's been implemented. They would then sit there and try and use that same system to get to the top, and then from the top, then start creating. Because this is the thing, like, the socialists I know always talk about, grassroots this, grassroots that, but this is the thing, is that once you've gotten to the top of said things like that, like, once you've gotten like elected and shit, you're now at the tippity top. So regardless of whether those people with you came from the grassroots, like working class areas of like the local town, or whether they came from the higher ups above, by the time you've actually won within the system, then you are now the top dog. You are now the top dog of the hierarchy. And what do anarchists hate? Hierarchies. So you see what I mean? It's kind of stupid. Like, why are you gonna sit there and be like, we need to think of a way to transform this building into what we need it to be? But then when you think about it from a logical standpoint, that's exactly what the rich cocksuckers do who run the planet and run the country. That's literally what they do now. It's just a different, like, see, this is why I have a problem with it, is because anarchists are straight up like, hey, yo, blow the cunt up. Like, there's no use for it type shit. And then what are all the people that have got capitalism and shit like that in their back pockets? What do they like sit there and say? Oh no, we need to keep it like this. We need to keep it like this. Yada yada yada. But then, what do the socialists sit there and say? They acknowledge that the system is broken and it's never worked, but at the same time, they then want to use said system that they've acknowledged is broken to then get themselves to the tippity top of the hierarchy. And people can sit there and say all the fuck that they want, that, oh no, like, once they've gotten to the top, there won't be any hierarchies. It will just be a group of people, a small group of people who are one of the people. And it's like, I'm sorry, but that sounds eerily similar to what they try and sell us nowadays. Like, for fuck's sake, Donald Trump in America. Like, yeah, he's gone bankrupt twice, but he's like literally fucking rich beyond belief. And what's he always saying? Like, oh, I'm one of you guys. Like, yeah, I like to go down the pub. It's like the fucking situation with oh, what's the guy who runs Reform? Nigel Farage, I think. Like, it's the same with him. Like, even though he's a rich cocksucker who's probably, like, literally got his hands in some Israeli lobbies and shit, he'll try and sit there and lie to the public by saying that he's one of them just because he goes down to the pub and has a few pints. That don't make you one of the people, mate. You know what I mean? But this is the problem. Is that what has been created now is this is the irony in the philosophy of what I can see from the, I don't want to say the outside looking in, or nor do I want to say the inside looking out type thing, because when you think about it, it is quite simply put like this. How it is now, how it is run now, is you've got to go back in time and have a look-see at politics. Because I can assure you, it was never once just rich cunts, like running the politics and running the globes and shit like that. I can guarantee you it wasn't always like that. Because from when there's a rich man, there must have once been a poor man. If you get where I'm going with this. Like, you lot think that all these fucking rich cocksuckers with their billions, sometimes trillions of like pounds or dollars worth of money, they literally have had that shit passed down to them from their like their aunts, their uncles, their mums, their dads, stuff like that. People that have gotten very, 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 very fucking successful hundreds of years ago have perpetually given them the money and just kept the mold going because the mold for them has worked. But then if the mold gets broken or stops working or gets overthrown, then you're going to have a different group of people. And yeah, like these socialists can sit there and say this all that they want, saying that, oh no, like there won't be any hierarchies, yada yada yada. It's like, well, no, because the thing is, see, is that if socialists get into power, yes, they sit there and say that grassroots are we're we're always out here with the people, which I can assure you they actually are. Like, but this is the problem that I've even brought up to them is that what happens when you get someone corrupt come into the fold and you lot have gone and it starts going downhill once again where that person has trickled their way into the party and thus have started fucking it up, has thus been making it so that they are now the ones profiting from this type of system. Because I'm sorry, but you can't sit there and say to me that socialists are like all there because, excuse me, all these people that everyone's fighting right now have come from capitalism. Yeah? So then it's like, right, cool. They've all come from capitalism, but then the problem is that then if you then get a select group of people in a party at the tippity top of running shit, their policies are only as good as the people that are actually at the top are. Like, that's literally how it is. And this is why I get so pissed off with it, is because people really think that it's going to be that easy. Because it's like, yeah, they're thinking for like right now. Yeah, they're thinking of right now. Like, they get up there, they get to the tippity top, and that's where they abolish the hierarchy of the capitalistic society that we live in. But then I've said this multiple times. I'm like, oh yeah, that's all well and good, mate. But then what happens when some fucking like some person who says that they're a socialist comes into the fold, ends up fucking up everything, and then starts running around behind everyone's backs, making their own policies and then putting them into play? Then what happens? Because you lot ain't always going to be around. So, well, yeah, you might have the party's best interests at heart and having the public's best interests at heart, but I can guarantee you it was once like that for the people that got rich off of capitalism. I can assure you of this one thing, that at some point throughout history, there was once people through the capitalist system who actually gave a fuck about the public and their people. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee you at least one time in the past, before they were all rich, arrogant, selfish, narcissistic cocksuckers, I can guarantee you one of those people that are those rich cocksuckers now, somewhere down the line, if you look back into their family tree further enough back, you would find someone who came from nothing, came from the working class, and then skyrocketed into the top dog hierarchy spot to make money. I can guarantee you of that. there was once one guy who, well, not one guy, but there was, like, just for this example, there was one guy that used to give a fuck about everyone, used to care about his neighbours, care about the public, care about his family, and all the rest. But then shit happened. He then got extraordinarily rich through the capitalistic system that's been in place for like literal years, and he ended up becoming selfish, jaded, narcissistic, and just outright did not give a fuck about anyone but himself. And that's how it started. Is that it was constantly put into their brains. Like they were once, like, if you look throughout the history, like, say for an example, if you've got 10 people that run the world, yeah, I can guarantee you at some point down the line, down their family trees, if you looked at those 10 people, look back into each one of their family trees, I can guarantee you there's been one from each family that has once sat there and came from nothing and then made it to the top of the hierarchy and then started creating rules like that best suits the public and whatnot, like best suits everything, like it best suits the public, it best suits their families, their friends, everything, and they've got the best interests of the world at heart because they're the ones running it. But then they die, and someone, say a group of people who aren't so nice, who aren't so caring, who aren't so loving, end up taking the world over and start running the world in the way that they see fit. And then because they've already got the amount of money that will ever be necessary for them to live lavishly, they don't need to implement things that are going to benefit the public. They don't need to do anything like that. They don't need to incorporate rules and regulations that are going to benefit their families and whatnot, because guess what? Their friends and families and themselves are they're already set. So they therefore have not been put into a space of being like caring, loving people. They've not come from the dirt tracks, so to speak. Like the first 10 people came from the dirt tracks and started running the globe, and they had the best interests at heart, but they all died. And then you get these other people that come in that aren't so nice, and then they start making the world just a tiny bit more cynical, a tiny bit more depressing, a tiny bit more saddening. And then, boom, this is where we come to with the socialist idea. They think that they will get to the top of the hierarchy and then they'll start making change. They'll start making change once they're at the top, and then the world will start becoming whole again. See, but then that's the problem. Is that I can guarantee you, the same way that hundreds of years ago, the first 10 people to ever run the globe, like all collectively was just hard-working people. Them 10 people then died, the ones who were making the world a better place, and then there's another 10 that come through who are complete arseholes because they've been given this shit. They've been inherited that money, so they've not had to go through hardships or anything. And this is the thing, is that that's exactly what would happen with the socialists, is because they can sit there and say that, oh yeah, we'll be abolishing the hierarchy. It will be basically free eats for everyone. It's like, yeah, all right, that's only good for whilst you lot stay alive. And then what? You lot die, and then there has to be another group of socialists to come through, and if they're not up to whack of you and your ideologies and you and your ideals of how to make the world a better place, if they're not up to it and they're actually corrupted, then what? They're gonna start making these rules to make life harder for the people down at the bottom instead of dropping rules from the top, making things better for the actual people. And that's the problem. That's why I don't subscribe to the sense of socialism, is because they accept that the system is broken and it's never worked, yada yada yada, but they don't accept the fact that, yeah, after they've gone, then what? Like, they've gotten to the top of the hierarchy, they've started making all these rules up and putting them into practice to make the world a better place, but then how long is that going to last for? How long is it going to last for until a so-called socialist comes through and then starts moving like a dictator or something along them lines? Then what happens? Then it's back to square one again. You're fucked. But they can't see that through their own bias of ideologies. Like, they genuinely can't see that. They can't see that through their shared ideologies, they can't see the very truthful possible matter of what I've just explained is. And this is the thing. The only way to actually make it so that shit doesn't happen, so you don't get a select group of people just running the globe, because let's be honest, like, you say that there's not a hierarchy, but in the meetings that I've gone to before in the past of like socialist meetings, they've got a hierarchy. You know, you see what I'm saying? And it's like, how are you going to have a hierarchy in your own establishment where you're calling for the end of said establishment that's a hierarchy because simply it's not being beneficial for you? It's like, it's not being beneficial for you, so you want the hierarchy to go. But you're completely content with using hierarchies in your political party. So it's like, sounds like it's one of those cases of, oh yeah, just as long as it benefits us, it's completely fine. But if it doesn't benefit us, then no, it can fuck off. That's what it just genuinely sounds like. Is where anarchists, it's one of the top things that people always go to when they start speaking about anarchy, is the fact that it's just no hierarchy. Like, the fuck do you mean? Like, you're better than me because you've got a fucking degree? I don't give a fuck. Like, that's, you know what I mean? It's just, no, it's just not available. Like, you're gonna sit there and try and say to me that you're better than me because you've been born with a silver spoon stuck up your ass? I do not think so. Like, you're saying to me that because this fucking soldier who goes off and kills and rapes little kids for a living, just because he's shooting guns and shit and making a living whilst doing it, you're saying that he's better than me because I don't work, and then he does work and gets a decent living. You think he's better than me? He could be some dribbling fucking like vegetable, but as long as he's making whop, you're gonna think he's better than the next person. It's like, it's such a very much cynical approach. It's like, oh yeah, unless you're getting shit tons of money, then yeah, like, you're at the bottom, mate. You're at the bottom of the fucking pyramid. Like, where up at the very tippity top, you've got the bankers and shit like that. And then it's like, So apparently, these bankers that have got their grotty little blood-soaked hands in every single war, every single conflict, and every single profitable thing imaginable, you're telling me that they're at the top, so they're better than everyone else simply because of that fucking one's true statement. Like, nah, fuck yourself. Burn the pyramid to the ground. The fuck do you mean? Like, you know what I mean? But another thing that I just need to quickly touch on before it runs out of time is that there's a very common misconception, a very big common misconception with anarchy, is because, do not get twisted, you can create anarchy and not be an anarchist. Just like you can be an anarchist and also not believe in anarchy. Because the word anarchy as a verb comes from disorder, like chaos, riots, stuff like that. That is deemed anarchy. But being an anarchist doesn't necessarily indicate you're content with everything ending in said anarchy. That's the thing. So it's a lot of like people get that shit mixed up and think, oh yeah, because you're an anarchist, that means you must go around blowing up shit and like setting things on fires and just like beating people up because it's anarchy. It's like, mate, no, that's not what an anarchist is. Like, anarchist is a person who doesn't believe in any type of social structures such as hierarchies and the things that are owned by the state. Like, you tell someone who's an anarchist that, oh, this is owned by the state, they'll give zero fucks about it because they do not respect the state. They do not want the state. They do not want said hierarchy. So they do not want the state. But then anarchy, it's like you're sitting there fucking doing all types of violent, destructive things. And people think that just because of that, like, you're an anarchist. And it's like, mate, no, that's not how shit works. I was also very fucking surprised. Like, I got a rude awakening, put it this way, when I found out that being an anarchist, as far as like the stereotypical anarchist is, apparently that's fucking, someone told me it's far left or something. And I'm sorry, but like, in what fucking God's green forsaken earth do you sit there and say that, oh yeah, the powers that be that constantly control our lives and make it constantly shit, nah, that like, you believe in that needs to go is like, oh, far left or whatever. Like, I just don't like, even with the whole far left versus far right type nonsense. Like, it's politics at the end of the day. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, ironically, me getting called far left pisses me off. Just like how it pisses me off if someone calls me far right. Because it's like, mate, I do not give a fuck. Like, about what side of the fence you're on. I hate politics. You're red, you're far right, cool, kill yourself. You're far left, kill yourself. Because you're still stuck in this ideology that this system has been put into place to hold you motherfuckers in check is really gonna fucking help benefit you cunts. Really. You lot are fucking monkeys. In the words of Freezer, you are monkeys. You can't sit there and tell me that you're anything more than monkeys. And do not even get me started about those monkeys that fucking just sit in the Houses of Parliament, just flinging shit at each other, seeing who could bellow the loudest, going, like, That's literally all I hear when I turn on the fucking TV to watch the news. Oh, live from the Houses of Parliament. We're discussing knife crime. And what ends up happening? Basically, monkeys just chatting and throwing shit at each other. Absolutely no type of intelligible conversation is going on in there. Like, for fuck's sake, someone with a minor brain cell comes out and gives us a speech. And then, do you know what the people do in there to let you know if they disagree with it or agree with it? Start making fucking animal noises. Going like, say for example, if I said death to America, that is all. It'd be like, like sounding like some fucking caveman. But then if I turn around and said, we love Israel, it would be literally fucking, like you'd hear fucking AK-47s going off, people would be putting a fucking Semtex up their asshole, you know what I mean? That shit would be blowing up like everywhere, and it would literally be the one sound that would be this, of going like, yeah, 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 yeah. It's like, mate, what type of fucking vegetable are you? Like, you're clearly not a fucking human. Because a human is supposed to be evolved. There's nothing evolved or evolutionary about shouting a bunch of bollocks when you agree with something. Nothing of the sort. And that's why it always pisses me off. Because people, like, political people in general, you're not fucking clever. You're stupid. You're dumb. You're an idiot. You're a retard. You're a fucking monkey. You're a Down syndrome prick who's better off dead. Like, that's literally the truth. Because think about the shit. Like, this is the thing. It's like, call me an anarchist all you want, but I'll tell you what it is. It ain't no fucking far left, far right. It ain't no fucking like white, well, not fucking white, blue. Like, it's not no fucking like blue or red, yellow, green, what the fuck ever. It ain't none of that shit. All that fucking political system has done is been put into place by the fucking higher ups that run the globe to make you dumb ass fucking monkeys believe that you've got freedom of choice when it comes to how your life is controlled and how your life is affected by said decisions. That's what that shit's implemented for. Not this fucking nonsense of, oh yeah, well, looky here, I'm a far right, I'll go and drink Stella down at the weekend and beat my wife. Yeah, yeah, life's so hard with them fucking brown people. And then you got the left going, oh, fucking, I'm woke, I'm so left that I thought I was being sexist, so I ended up cutting off my bollocks because, well, I wanted to be a transitioning transgender. So, that's literally what it is. And it's just, it's just genuinely so fucking painful. It's honestly so stupid. Like, how the fuck you literally sit there and be like, oh yeah, like, even though the whole shit's been going on for like 100, 200, possibly 300 years, yeah, now's the time. My vote's gonna change the world. My vote's gonna do this. My vote's gonna do that. It's like, shut the fuck up. 200, 300 years of constant voting, look where it's gotten you. Absolutely fucking nowhere. It's just there for control and thinking that you've got an actual choice in the matter when you fucking don't. Like, sitting there and genuinely thinking that your shitty little vote between whether you vote for fucking, what's her name, the fucking black woman who opposed Donald Trump, or like fucking Keir Starmer and David Cameron or something along them lines. Like, no matter who you fucking vote for, like, it ain't gonna fucking change shit. You think voting for one of them is going to stop the bankers investing and making up wars just so they can get some more blood money. Fuck no. There's that old fucking saying that literally goes, it don't matter who you vote for, because the rich will stay rich, the poor will stay poor, and the bombs will keep dropping. Thank you and good night.